用失十倍. Eliminate one source of profit, amplify efforts tenfold. Xiefeng. Hitler's failure, aside from the arrangements of the Tao of Heaven, was due to his overly broad battlefield strategy. He spread his energy across too many fronts, particularly with the opening of the Eastern Front, which led to his ultimate downfall. To stand out, one must concentrate energy on a single point. The principle of a solar cooker is to focus the sunlight reflected by hundreds of small mirrors onto one point. This way, the warm light becomes extremely hot and can boil pots of cold water. By concentrating energy on a single point, one can generate powerful and incredible strength. Jesus taught that with faith as small as a mustard seed, one could instantly move a tree into the sea. The reason we cannot achieve this is that our energy is scattered. Our desires are too numerous and too great, and we seek to obtain too many things. The blind hear well, the deaf see well. Eliminate one source of profit, amplify efforts tenfold. If we focus our desires on one point, our desires will be quickly satisfied. If we simultaneously want to become wealthy, hold an official position, become a scientist, artist, writer, musician, and also possess supernatural abilities, we will end up mastering none. The reason our spiritual senses cannot be activated is that we overly rely on our sensory functions: sight, hearing, taste, smell, and touch. If we lose these functions, we can rely entirely on our spiritual senses. If you cover your eyes and block your ears, how do you perceive the world while suspended in midair? Only through spiritual senses. The better our spiritual senses, the less reliant we are on the physical body. Life can indeed be sustained by mental energy alone. If we could reach such a state, we would hardly need our sensory faculties and could control our life and death, leaving the human world at will. If we want to stay longer, we can freely enjoy life. If not, we can leave whenever we wish. Eliminate one source of profit, and efforts are amplified tenfold. Eliminate 10 sources of profit, and efforts are amplified 100-fold. Jesus asked us to give up family, property, and everything to become his disciples. This is not heartlessness, but a way to better direct our emotions. Laozi taught us to put ourselves last in order to be first, to externalize ourselves to preserve our true selves. Buddha taught us to be free from the notions of self, others, lifespan, living beings, and dharma. These teachings guide us toward possessing supreme enlightenment wisdom. If a person cannot save themselves, how can they save others? If they do not know their own future, how can they guide the masses? Therefore, there are too many blind teachers in the world, misleading their disciples. Self-reliance is essential. Saving oneself comes first. If your swimming skills are inadequate, how can you save your struggling parents and children in the water? Moreover, in the vast ocean, even if you can save them, how will you do so? Where is the shore? After rescuing your loved ones, where will you take them? Parents are a benefit, children are a benefit, studying and working are benefits. Making friends is a benefit, serving society is a benefit, supporting a family is a benefit, marriage is a benefit, earning money to buy a car and house is a benefit, honor and status are benefits. If you can eliminate 1, 2, or 3 of these benefits, you can amplify your efforts tenfold to accomplish great things in life. Ultimately, you will have everything. Letting go of everything allows you to gain everything. The ancient Chinese were wise. They taught their children and disciples, in books, there are houses of gold. In books, there are beauties like jade. The meaning is clear. Do not rush to pursue immediate benefits and beauties. Everything you desire is in the books. As long as you study well, everything will naturally come to you. At the time, this was indeed true. Likewise, in Life Genuine, everything is available. Whatever you seek, you can obtain. So, let's fully commit to building Life Genuine and strictly follow the guide's roadmap. Whatever you need, the guide knows. Gradually eliminating a few sources of short-term benefits will quickly lead to long-term rewards. 黑洞中的太阳, the sun in the black hole. Xiefeng. Let's conduct a simple experiment. Hang a 100-watt bulb in a room with white walls. You'll find the light to be very bright, fully demonstrating the bulb's value. Now, cover the ceiling and walls with black cloth, and you will notice the change. It seems much dimmer, as if it were a 15-watt bulb instead of a 100-watt one. What's going on here? The brightness of the bulb depends on the reflectivity of the surrounding surfaces. The stronger the reflection, the brighter the light. The weaker the reflection, the dimmer the light. If there is no reflective material around, or if there is no material at all, the bulb emits no visible light, even if it remains hot. The brightness of night depends on the moon reflecting sunlight. A full moon on the 15th day of the lunar month is much brighter than the new moon on the first day, because the full moon reflects more sunlight. If the sky is also covered with thick clouds on the first day, the darkness can be so profound that you can't even see your hand in front of your face. There is a sun within a black hole, but because there are no reflective materials, it doesn't emit light. It's not that the sun isn't there. It's just that nothing is there to reflect its light. Even if a light source is close, without a medium to carry the light, we will never see it, even if it's right next to us. No matter how great a thought is, if there's no medium to reflect it, its greatness will forever remain unknown. The greatest creator exists, but if people's hearts are dark, they will never see him. The Tao flows around us, but if people's minds are narrow, they will never experience the flow of the Tao. No matter how profound the love, if there is no receiver, this love will forever remain buried. These are simple truths, nothing extraordinary. But when we apply these truths in our lives, they will emit a wondrous light. Let's analyze this using the example of Life Changyuan. Life Changyuan's teachings can be described as profound and vast, but if no one accepts them, they are worthless. When someone accepts them, they radiate brilliance. The more people accept them, the greater their light. The higher the Tao nature of those who accept them, the brighter Life Changyuan's light becomes. Each of us in Life Changyuan is a reflector. The purer we are, the stronger our reflection, and the more people will see the light of Life Changyuan. If we are dark within, not only will we fail to reflect light, but we will also dim it. Reflecting light sources not only makes the surroundings clearer, but also brightens oneself. The more Life Changyuan members dedicate themselves to its cause, they not only perform selfless acts for all beings, but also realize their own value. The application of energy works the same way. The more you use it, the more it grows. The less you use it, the less you have. Those who are conservative or whose hearts are closed lack energy. Even if you possess priceless treasures or profound thoughts, if you don't use them, they will eventually turn into a pile of trash. A few days ago, my partner and I played a card game called Chao Di Pai, a popular trick-taking card game in China, or Gai Mao with Qin Celestial and Inha Celestial. This game taught me one thing. You must play your good cards at the right time. If you miss the chance, your good cards will end up useless, merely enriching your opponent while becoming trash to you. If you have good ideas, share them with others. This way, not only will your ideas not diminish, but they will also multiply and deepen. The same goes for love. The more you give, the more you receive. The less willing you are to give, the less love you will gain. If you keep love buried in your heart, by the time you die, your love will be nothing more than a pile of garbage. If you are the sun, then place yourself among reflective materials. If you are not the sun, then become something that can reflect light. Shine together, complement each other. Life is like this. You are either the sun or a reflective material. If you are neither, your life will be pitch black, ultimately ending as a pile of decaying trash or a dirty, dark path. Let us reflect the greatest Creator's light and, in doing so, achieve a glorious life and eternal life. Guanmiao Guanjiao. Observing the profound and the manifest. Xiefeng. To understand the essence and scope of the Tao, the celestial Laozi provides an ingenious approach. Hence, always rid yourself of desires in order to observe its mysteries, but always allow yourself to have desires in order to observe its manifestations. Laozi's meaning is that to observe and comprehend the existence of the Tao, its characteristics, and the profound laws of its evolution, one must first transform oneself into a state of formlessness, completely letting go of oneself, without any personal opinions or perspectives, achieving a state of being without self. To understand the mysteries of the Tao's operations and transformations, one needs to immerse oneself in the movement and changes of things, using personal insights and perspectives to interact with the Tao. This statement also implies that by freeing oneself from the constraints of material phenomena and perceiving the world as though nothing exists, one can grasp the essential mysteries of the Tao. Conversely, to comprehend how the Tao governs and transforms the universe, one needs to observe and understand it through the development, changes, and decline of tangible things in the vast world. Buddha's teaching, only by not clinging to the forms of the tangible world can one see the true nature of the Tathagata, essentially shares the same meaning as Laozi's guidance. From this, we understand that what is called the Tao is the Tathagata. What is called the Tathagata is the Tao. Laozi's teachings serve as both an epistemology of the Tao and a methodology for spiritual practice and cultivation. For example, to understand the current state of Chinese society and its future trends, we should apply two opposite yet unified methods. One is to place oneself outside, stepping out of its sphere, perceiving oneself as a non-existent, unrelated entity, and examining it without any personal viewpoint. Only in this zero state can one clearly see its true nature and grasp its essential attributes. The other method is to involve oneself in its development and changes, experiencing each phase directly to sense and understand its evolutionary trends and direction. This approach applies to the Tao, to countries, to every religion, and to every family, and should especially be used to understand and know oneself. In a state without self-conception, without the notion of others, without the perception of sentient beings, without the fixation on longevity, without the view of phenomena, without the view of non-phenomena, without the view of reality, and without the view of illusion, observe who you are. At the same time, live in the real world, leaving tangible footprints to verify the distance between the reality of oneself and the Tathagata nature. Go up the mountain to observe, come down to verify, and repeat this process to grasp the profound mysteries. Being able to enter and exit freely prevents confusion. Entering without being able to exit leads to confusion. Always remaining aloof without engaging also leads to confusion. One must not always dwell in emptiness, nor always in form. One must not always be in illusion, nor always in reality. Constantly being and constantly non-being. These two are the same but diverge in name as they issue forth. Being the same, they are called mysteries, mystery upon mystery, the gateway of the manifold secrets. This aligns with the principles of the Taiji and the rules of spiritual cultivation and practice. From this, we can conclude that purely shutting oneself in for cultivation or solely immersing oneself in reality leads to a muddled life. Both are signs of not truly understanding life. Purely obsessing over a particular religion, political party, or movement is also a sign of not understanding the principles of the Tao. Only by oscillating between being and non-being can one avoid being misled by phenomena and mystical insights. Many who suffer in adversity or feel frustrated in love, and many who feel content in favorable circumstances or relationships, are prone to making mistakes, sometimes even severe ones. This is mainly because they see only being without seeing non-being. Some end up in prison, some are killed, some commit suicide. All because they fail to grasp the principles of the Tao. They go in but never come out. How could they not err? In the eyes of an employer, neither overly clever nor overly naive people make good employees. If we assume that the greatest creator is our employer, and we are the employees, then we should avoid being too naive or too clever. Those who are too naive suffer losses, while those who are too clever invite trouble. We must constantly balance having and not having to be good employees of the greatest creator. 觉悟, enlightenment. 觉醒. Enlightenment, 觉悟, consists of two components. 觉 refers to the immediate response of the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind, spirit, to external stimuli, while wu refers to understanding and awakening. Together, enlightenment describes a person's reaction through their senses and spiritual awareness, leading to a complete realization of the inherent characteristics and meanings of these stimuli. This journey moves a person from confusion to clarity, from bewilderment to awareness, from ignorance to wisdom, and from death to eternal life. Enlightenment has different levels. The lowest level is realizing that to survive, one must have the basic necessities of life: food, clothing, shelter, and transportation. The highest level of enlightenment is becoming a Buddha. Thus, the ultimate state of enlightenment is Buddhahood, or it can be said that being a Buddha signifies enlightenment. Many people are aware, 觉, but few fully understand Wu. Those who achieve the ultimate and supreme level of enlightenment are as rare as phoenix feathers or morning stars. They are the treasures of the world. A truly enlightened person is not lonely or isolated. If someone feels lonely or isolated, it indicates that they have not yet achieved enlightenment. Attaining supreme enlightenment is not difficult. The challenge lies in perceiving without comprehending. A gentle breeze may blow, and one may feel it, but few people ponder why the breeze exists, why it blows, or why they can feel it. The greatest creator is evidently beside us, clearly within us, yet people still cannot see the greatest creator and doubt his existence. This is not just because their spiritual perception is undeveloped, but mainly because they lack understanding. Without understanding, one cannot truly grasp the truth. Without understanding, one remains in a state of unconsciousness. If the spirit does not awaken, one will remain forever in a dreamlike state. If someone is having a nightmare, it is best to wake them up. But if someone is having a pleasant dream, what should be done? Those awakened from a nightmare will be grateful, but those awakened from a pleasant dream will likely be upset. People in deep sleep do not wish to be awakened, regardless of the reason. Awakening others is not an easy task. Few show joy or happiness upon being awakened, and many display annoyance and displeasure. This is the sorrow of all messengers and saints. Helping people awaken is a burdensome task. Providing them with enjoyment is a pleasant one. This stems from human inertia. Guiding people along a broad, easy path is a delightful task, but leading them through rugged, narrow trails is challenging. This is due to human habits. Enlightenment requires overcoming inertia and habit and demands a shift in life's direction, which is not easy. This explains why so few ascend to the heavenly kingdom while so many descend to hell. There are issues with the God described in the Bible, yet few people think about them rationally or strive to understand them clearly. Except for the Diamond Sutra, other Buddhist scriptures have flaws. Who is willing to observe and understand them? The teachings of the Quran have issues, and the way Islam spreads its truth is problematic. Who is willing to understand? The Big Bang Theory and the theory of evolution have issues. Who is willing to understand? Nationalism, ethnic chauvinism, and family values have issues. Who is willing to understand? Money can save lives but cannot save souls. Who is willing to understand this? Death is not the final destination of life. Who is willing to understand this? Consciousness creates reality. Who is willing to understand this? People loudly proclaim their desire to know and pursue the truth, but how many genuinely wish to understand and pursue it? Like the Duke of Yi, who professes to love dragons, but in reality, it's all for decoration and self-deception. When a real dragon appears, they reject it. Many proclaim their desire to create joy and happiness, but when true joy and happiness arrive, they hesitate and shut them out. Few are truly enlightened. Few strive to reach the shore. Many simply drift with the current. 随性而动. Follow your nature. 写法. Nature is the greatest creator, the ancestral Buddha Tathagata, and Allah, yet it is also Satan. Nature is the original state, Tathagata, and the source, but it is also the offshoot. Nature can be divided into innate nature and acquired nature. Innate nature is pure and clear, unstained, while acquired nature is vibrant with colors and rife with impurities. Heavenly nature is the innate nature, while disposition and habits are acquired nature. Heavenly nature reflects the characteristics of the Creator, gods, and Buddhas. Disposition reflects the inherent nature and instincts of beings who reincarnate. Habits reflect the survival inertia formed by mental patterns. Loving beauty is heavenly nature, seeking freedom and joy is heavenly nature, and pursuing eternal life is heavenly nature. Mice burrowing in the ground, birds nesting in trees, wolves eating meat, and sheep eating grass are manifestations of disposition. Similarly, some people enjoy music, while others prefer lying or stealing. These are dispositions, or inherent natures. Smoking, drinking, and staying out late are habits. To follow your nature means to act according to the drives of your heart. It somewhat means going with your feelings. The universe is holographic, and all natures operate within the scope of the Tao and under its control. Following your nature is essentially walking in accordance with the Tao. The stars shine brightly, myriad phenomena manifest in various forms, and the countless postures and changes in the universe showcase its vitality and embody the extension of the Tao. When all things act according to their nature, there can be orderly harmony, with rises and falls occurring in sequence. Birds should fly, animals should run, flowers should bloom at the right time, and plants should sprout and grow in spring. Humans should eat, drink, excrete, experience pleasure, grow old, and die. Gods and Buddhas should save people, demons should harm them, and celestials should live carefree and joyful lives. Roosters should crow, hens should lay eggs, bees should make honey, peach trees should bear peaches, and apricot trees should bear apricots. Each should take its place and perform its duty. This is following one's nature. If you are meant to bloom but insist on bearing fruit, meant to be an ox but insist on being a horse, meant to be a tiger but insist on being a deer, meant to drink water but insist on drinking wine, meant to guard the gate but insist on playing football, meant to wipe the table but insist on sweeping the floor, meant to be human but insist on becoming a Buddha, meant to be a Buddha but insist on being human, meant to endure poverty but insist on enjoying wealth, meant to be Hitler but insist on being a saint, meant to be a thinker but insist on being an official, and so on. That is acting against heavenly nature. This disrupts order and degrades oneself. If you were a president, would you want everyone to be officials? If you had 3 acres of land, would you plant only corn? If you had 20 rooms, would you use them all as dining rooms? If you had a backyard garden, would you cultivate only red peonies? You wouldn't, and neither would the Creator. So let's think. What should we become, and what should we do? The Creator already has a plan and arrangements. How can we live and act according to the Creator's will? How can we earn the Creator's praise? The answer is to follow your nature. To follow your nature means not forcing yourself against it. You know what your heavenly nature likes. If you enjoy playing in the mud, then play in the mud. If you like dancing, then dance well. If you prefer noodles, eat noodles. If you like cucumbers, eat more cucumbers. If you enjoy playing the piano, then learn it. If you like reading, read. If you like killing, become a butcher. If you like teaching people, become a sage. If you like money, do business. If you like power, strive to become an official. Don't try to imitate others, don't compare yourself to others, and don't follow others' guidance against your will. Whatever your heavenly nature loves, do it. That's following your nature, which aligns with the Tao's dominion and operation. This way, you won't do anything wrong, and you won't take the wrong path. Imagine, if your boss wants you to demolish a house, but you work hard to repair it. If your boss wants you to drive the fox out of the home, but you, in your compassion, raise the fox, you may think you're doing good, but in reality, you're doing foolish and harmful things. Hitler may have gone to heaven because he followed his nature. Mao Zedong may have gone to the Celestial Islands continent of the Elysium world because he followed his nature. Good people who do not follow their nature may have gone to hell, and those who don't live properly and obsess over becoming Buddhas or celestial beings may also have gone to hell. When a beautiful person is by your side, you may want to express love and feel an inner urge. But if you strive to conceal your feelings and pretend to be a moralist unmoved by temptations, you're likely not far from hell. This is because you are not genuine. You're fake. You're not beautiful. You're ugly. Parents who do not follow their children's nature and force them to learn this and that are despotic and dictatorial. Anyone who incites, coerces, or forces others is a bad person. Only those who comply with their own and others' heavenly nature are kind-hearted and enlightened. If you are presented with money, power, fame, beauty, and life, and you are allowed to choose only one, just follow your nature. If you weigh the pros and cons, you've violated the principle of following your nature. If you yearn for life genuine and desperately wish to become a Chanyuan celestial, but allow yourself to be swayed by others' good advice and start weighing gains and losses, you are not following your nature. Follow your nature. Enjoy each day happily, and as for tomorrow, deal with tomorrow's matters then. Tomorrow, I will still follow my nature. Following your nature, with your nature being clear and pure, you will have no regrets and eventually attain perfect authenticity. 人有远虑，必有近烦。 Those who have long-term concerns will have immediate troubles. Xiefeng. The ancients taught us, a person without long-term concerns will have immediate worries. This statement is only half correct. It embodies the halfway wisdom of those in the middle of the journey or the common wisdom suited for ordinary people, which I do not dispute. However, for practitioners of self-improvement and cultivation, this kind of wisdom is extremely harmful and is the root of life's troubles. Such limited wisdom misleads people into an unrealistic future, making them anxious and restless, chasing desires, distressed by illusions, and ignoring the joy and happiness of the present moment. It buries life's happiness under the fear of an unpredictable future, unnecessarily adding troubles and misfortune to oneself. When a child is just born, foolish parents begin planning for the child's future, worrying about their child's food, clothing, housing, schooling, marriage, and success in life. When the child just starts school, parents start fretting about their child's grades and whether they will get into a top high school or a prestigious university. When starting a job, people begin to scrimp and save, being harsh on themselves to accumulate money for houses, cars, spouses, and parents. Even when they are healthy, they save money in case of future illness. When their marriage is fine, they fret about third-party interference or whether their partner might become unfaithful. Even when life is going well, they worry about their old age and where they will be buried after death. Before even stepping out the door, they worry about potential accidents, illnesses, or trouble along the way. The joy of starting university barely fades before worrying about finding a satisfying job after graduation. Upon entering life genuine, they begin to worry about whether they will be deceived, suppressed by the government, or led astray, weighing the pros and cons incessantly. Most people do not live in the present reality. They live in the hazy, ethereal future. But where is the future? The top floor of a building relies on the support of all the lower floors. Without the lower floors, there is no top floor. The future of life is constructed by each present moment. Without today, there is no future. More importantly, the future of a happy person is happiness. The future of an anxious person is anxiety. You reap what you sow. The flower that blossoms depends on the seed you plant, and the sound of passing gas depends on the food you consume. A person's future is built upon their current state of mind. If one constantly worries, their future will be filled with worry. If one is constantly troubled, their future will be filled with trouble. If a person suffers throughout their life, their future will inevitably be filled with suffering. You reap what you sow, and you grow melons from melon seeds and beans from bean seeds. If you have long-term concerns, you will inevitably have immediate troubles, without exception. Long-term concerns are not a good thing. They cause more harm than good. Long-term concerns are a sign of a diseased mind and a mark of ignorance. Let me illustrate with a few examples. In Zimbabwe, there was a man who, when the exchange rate was 6.3 Zimbabwean dollars to $1, lived frugally, denying himself the clothes and comforts he should have enjoyed. He was harsh on himself and his family, saving up money to prepare for imagined future difficulties. He managed to save 10,000 Zimbabwean dollars, which at the time was worth over 1,500 US dollars. He kept saving, but as the Zimbabwean dollar plummeted, today, his savings, including interest, amount to just 0.20 US dollars. Isn't that heartbreaking? A construction company from Gansu province has a branch in Zimbabwe. About 4 years ago, the company had 2 project managers in their 40s working there. During their time in Zimbabwe, they lived frugally and never spent a penny unnecessarily. They saved money primarily for 2 reasons: to buy a house and to cover their children's college tuition. Just a week before returning to China, the 2 were driving over 200 kilometers from Harare to a site to handle one last matter. On the way back, they had a car accident and both died on the spot. Isn't that tragic? I know someone who is quite talented, and I encouraged him to quit his job and try working abroad. At first, he was eager and enthusiastic, but 2 years have passed, and he's still in the same place. When I asked what happened, he said there were many practical concerns he couldn't ignore. What if I get sick? What if I fail? What if I lose my home? What if immigration sends me back? And what if, while I'm away, my child gets into trouble during this crucial growth period? I followed up, saying, right, And what if a third party intervenes and your wife runs off with someone else? Life is a journey, an experience, and there's no real failure in life. Those who worry about distant troubles create their own suffering in their minds, worrying about things that do not exist. Even the wisest people cannot fully see the future. Many of the difficulties and misfortunes you imagine at home simply do not exist. Out of 10 tools you prepare for the future, 9 may never be used. There is no need to spend time, energy, or resources preparing for the future. One should live in the present, fully utilizing all the conditions of the moment to do what is needed now. Some may say, your life a genuine worries about things after death. Isn't that a distant worry? Yes, but I believe there is a difference in nature. The distant worries of ordinary people bring anxiety, while Life a Genuine's distant worries bring beautiful aspirations. Life a Genuine members live in boundless happiness, and every time they gaze towards the celestial island's continent in the distance, a sense of beauty arises naturally. We remain grounded, not missing out on the joy and pleasure of reality. Whenever there is a reason to be happy, I absolutely do not miss the chance. My loved one often teaches me to be modest, cautious, and not to get carried away. I say, life rarely brings joy. Whenever there's a chance, I choose to be happy first. As for the consequences, I will deal with them when they come. When I first started down the path of capitalism and began working independently, I rented a beautiful villa. A friend worriedly said, "You're just a family of 3. You don't need such a spacious house. You should live in something simpler to save money for any potential misfortunes." I replied, "If I can live in a nice house today, I'll enjoy it now. If I can't tomorrow, then I'll move." As it turned out, from the start until now, the houses I've lived in have only become more spacious and comfortable. I refuse to worry about the future. Some Life a Genuine members express love for me. That's wonderful, and I gladly accept it. My approach is to love first and sort out the rest later. Whether my spouse will divorce me, whether a Life a Genuine member's husband will file for divorce, or whether this will affect the future romantic prospects of unmarried members is not my concern. If we can be happy, let's be happy now and deal with the future when it comes. What I want to express is this. We should look forward to the future without leads to more anxiety. A joyful future leads to more joy. If we live now as celestial beings of the 1,000-year world, then our future life is already in the 1,000-year world. Only joy can create more joy. Worry never creates joy. If we spend our entire lives consumed by worries about the future, our troubles will never cease. This is what is meant by, those who have long-term concerns will have immediate troubles. 把地球翘起来. Move the earth. Xiefeng. Translation edited by Qin Yu. Someone once said, "Give me a lever and a fulcrum, and I can move the earth." That's nonsense. It's like saying, "Give me a spacecraft that can travel 1,000,000,000 times faster than light, and I can reach the 10,000-year world." The true sage is not the one who moves the earth, but the one who finds the fulcrum. Not the one who rides the spacecraft, but the one who can build it. According to the unconventional thinking theory of Life a Genuine, there is no absolute impossibility in the world. There are only those who fail to consider all possibilities. There is nothing that cannot be done. Can we talk face to face across thousands of miles? Can we see everything happening on Earth while sitting at home? The answer is, people have already achieved this. Can humans live for 10,000 years? Can they live forever? Can all terminal illnesses be cured? Can people live in the Elysium world? Many might say it's impossible, but in reality, it's not just possible. It's absolutely achievable. Life a Genuine's theories have already addressed these questions. There's nothing that cannot be done, only things that are beyond the reach of one's thinking. Life is a non-material structure with spirituality. As long as this structure remains unchanged, one can live forever. Terminal illnesses are merely external manifestations of imperfect life structures. By perfecting the structure of life, terminal illnesses will vanish without a trace. Can people live in the Elysium world? It's as easy as flipping your hand. Sorry, the secrets are only for Chanyuan celestials. Can the Earth be moved? With Mars as the fulcrum and standing on Pluto to pry, you can move the Earth. Another nonsense statement, right? The first question is, where would you get such a long lever? Next, who can stand on Pluto to pry? And then, who has the strength to do it? A single straw can break a camel's back. There's no doubt about that, right? A master of Taiji can use 4 ounces to move 1,000 pounds. The most exquisite swordsmanship has no sword. The best cultivation is not cultivating. The most refined mystical arts have no form or appearance. The strongest is the softest. The mightiest is the weakest. Laozi said, "Great perfection seems flawed, yet its use is boundless. Great fullness seems empty, yet its use is endless. Those skilled in counting do not use counters. Those skilled in closing shut without bolts yet cannot be opened. Those skilled in tying bind without ropes yet cannot be untied." Illness arises from the mind, and the environment is shaped by the mind. The form of life corresponds to one's way of thinking. Consciousness creates reality. What is the distance between the atomic nucleus and the electron? How vast is the distance between Earth and Pluto? Measuring micrometers and nanometers with an inch is like using an atomic bomb to kill a mosquito. Measuring light years with a yardstick is like using grains of sand to measure the Milky Way. So, which is longer, the inch or the yard? It's all for entertainment. Holographic thinking is simply wonderful, indescribably joyful, boundless, and unrestricted. Play however you like. Not only can you lift the Earth, but you can also sweep the entire Milky Way into an iron dustpan with a broom. 100,000 light years pass in the blink of an eye. It's so much fun. No wonder Sun Wukong can travel 108,000 miles with a single somersault, just a piece of cake. No wonder the Earth-traveling sun can freely walk through the earth, like a shark swimming in water. No wonder Laozi sighed and said, "Those of ancient times who were good at the Tao were subtle and profound, mysterious and all-penetrating, deep beyond comprehension." No wonder the Buddha Shakyamuni taught his disciples to let the mind arise without abiding anywhere. Marvelous! Marvelous! How great was Lizi's teacher, Huzi! Hey, my friend, if you have nothing else to do, try lifting the earth for fun. It's quite entertaining. 明道若昧，进道若退. The way of the Tao seems obscure. Advancing in the Tao seems like retreating. Xiefeng. May 3, 2006. Translation edited by Qin Yu. The bright, great path appears dim and obscure. The road to progress seems like a series of setbacks, shedding armor and helmet. The smooth path appears rugged and full of danger. The mature path feels innocent and childlike, returning to simplicity. The dark path seems sunny and well-lit. The regressive path appears to be thriving, advancing daily. The rugged path looks flat and wide, as if smooth and straight. The ignorant path seems intelligent and well-guided. The path to freedom feels filled with barriers and difficulties. The road to joy seems weighed down with heavy shackles and great losses. The path to happiness looks burdened with debts, needing daily repayment. The road of love resembles a wind-swept bamboo forest, with affection scattered. The path to becoming a ghost, a lost or restless spirit, appears radiant and charming. The road to becoming human resembles a vigorous competition in a jungle. The path to becoming immortal, a celestial being, seems at peace with the world, soaring freely. The way to becoming a Buddha, reaching enlightenment, feels like drunkenness and dreaming, moving against the current. With every rise, there comes a fall. With joy, sorrow follows. Having much inevitably leads to confusion. Worrying much brings spiritual dizziness. The less one has, the freer they feel. The more one has, the more entangled they become. Starting with hard tasks makes the rest easier. Starting with easy tasks makes them harder. The more arrogant and self-important one is, the more they are despised. The humbler and more modest one is, the more they are respected and cherished. The more desires one has, the larger the door to desires becomes. The more one restrains, the smaller the door becomes. The more intangible and spiritual one becomes, the more grounded they feel. The more materialistic and practical one is, the more hollow they feel. The more one has, the emptier they become. The less one has, the more fulfilled they are. To put oneself last is to be first. To step outside oneself is to truly exist. Those who speak of the Tao do not know it. Those who speak of goodness are not truly good. Those who speak of virtue lack it. Those who speak of trust are untrustworthy. Those who speak of wealth are poor. Those who speak of power lack it. Those who speak of fame are unknown. Those who speak of love are loveless. Fullness is useless. Emptiness is useful. Colors blind the eyes. Sounds deafen the ears. Objects dull the senses. Desires cloud the spirit. In vagueness, there is form and substance. In darkness, there is essence and truth. In yin, darkness, there is yang, light. In yang, there is yin. The material world reflects the non-material and vice versa. Humans resemble ghosts. Ghosts resemble humans. Buddhas resemble demons. Demons resemble Buddhas. Satan may appear tender, while divinity strikes like lightning. Within fortune lies misfortune. Within misfortune, fortune grows. Flexibility endures, rigidity breaks. Kindness can lead to harm, love to hate, affection to folly, hardship to wisdom. Those who rush are shallow-rooted and wither quickly. Those who proceed slowly are deeply rooted and grow strong. Distance tests a horse's strength. True intentions are ultimately revealed. The highest goodness flows like water. The greatest virtue grows like grass. Great wisdom floats like clouds, and love stands like a mountain. Endure the night, and the day will come. Endure shame, and glory will follow. Endure softness, and strength will emerge. Endure the microscopic, and you'll understand the grand. Flowers attract butterflies naturally, but forcing them into a net brings sorrow. A peaceful mind flows naturally. Forcing calm leads to unrest. A clean body wards off illness, but endless medicine is like scratching an itch through a boot. A pure heart attracts celestial beings, while chaotic practices are like fishing for the moon in water. Those who try too hard fail. Those who cling too tightly lose. The strong age. The rich become poor. Those who know others are wise. Those who know themselves are enlightened. Those content with what they have are rich. Those who recognize wealth are content. To take, first give. To destroy, first build. To capture, first release. To love, first offer a small taste of hate. Reversion is the motion of the Tao. To seek sweetness, first endure bitterness. To be a teacher, first be a good student. To make money, first distance yourself from it. To become an official, first love the people. To enter a park, first buy a ticket. To win a lover's heart, always give them freedom. To become a noble Chanyuan celestial, a member of Chanyuan, always remain humble. The way of the Tao seems obscure. Advancing in the Tao feels like retreating. By thinking unconventionally, the path reveals itself amid dark willows and blooming flowers. 最高级的交流方式. The highest form of communication. Xiefeng. May 9, 2006. There are many ways for lives to communicate with each other. Through gestures, forms, postures, scents, images, language, and spiritual connections. For instance, some insects, like ants, primarily communicate through their antennae, which is a form of physical communication. The Venus de Milo-inspired communication involves conveying information through physical forms. The graceful dancing of swans during courtship and human dance are examples of posture-based communication. Animals, such as female sheep in heat, emit scents, which male sheep follow to complete a transaction. Images, advertisements, and similar media primarily rely on visual communication. Language is the main way humans communicate with each other, but the highest form of communication is spiritual. Spiritual communication is the universal language for all life in the universe. It transcends race, space, and time, allowing humans to communicate spiritually with insects, plants, animals, people who speak different languages, deities, ancient people, and future beings. Spiritual communication is free from barriers. It can occur directly, face-to-face, or indirectly, across great distances. A connection of hearts spans the universe, bridging billions of light years in an instant. Humans can communicate with insects and plants, and these organisms can sense human attitudes toward them. They can perceive human emotions like joy, anger, sorrow, and happiness. If insects overrun a house, a friendly spiritual attitude can persuade them to leave. A flower in a room will grow exceptionally beautifully, and release health-promoting scents if its owner communicates affectionately with it. Humans can also communicate spiritually with nature. By treating the sun, moon, mountains, rivers, and plants with kindness and friendliness, nature responds with perfection. In a thriving natural environment, expressing love through spiritual communication will result in protection from those plants and animals. Even a bee or a blade of grass can play a significant role at a crucial moment. Though this might seem incredible, it is a reality that happens everywhere, all the time. Humans can communicate with deities. In fact, worshiping deities, burning incense, and bowing are all forms of communicating with them. However, the best method is not through physical gestures, postures, or language, but through the heart. Thus, having deities in one's heart and frequently repenting and praying inwardly constitutes direct spiritual communication with them. The ways in which deities respond are varied and multifaceted. People can communicate with those who speak different languages. Especially during youth, even if two people speak different languages, mutual affection and desire can lead to a harmonious connection. This is evident not only from their gazes, but also from the powerful attraction and integration forces in their physiological fields. Human beings have an energy field around them, an invisible, rotating energy with light. This field, energy, and light change with mental states. The energy field and the color of the light in a loving state differ completely from those in a state of hatred. Observing the energy field and light between two people arguing is like seeing volcanic eruptions with black smoke, while the fields and light between lovers resemble a beautiful cosmic dance with swirling, colorful lights. Humans can engage in long-distance spiritual communication. As long as both parties think of each other at the same time, communication and emotional connection are possible. Humans can communicate with ancient people. For instance, devout Christians and Buddhists can have harmonious spiritual exchanges with Jesus and Buddha, experiencing their kindness and affection as if they were close family members, inseparable friends, or intimate companions. Reaching such a state allows for a complete understanding of Jesus and Shakyamuni, enabling one to articulate words that Jesus and Buddha have never spoken to others. Humans can also communicate with people from the future. Many prophets, seers, and science fiction writers engage in direct communication with future beings. Humans can communicate with the greatest creator through the heart. Here is a secret. The most perfect and highest form of lovemaking is spiritual lovemaking. When I traveled through the Three Realms Transit Continent, I saw how the immortals, celestial beings, in the 10,000-year world make love. None of these celestial beings were ugly or disabled. They were all very handsome and beautiful. They did not need physical contact to make love. It was all through spiritual communication. You would see a wonderful display of interaction between two magnetic fields, truly intoxicating and enchanting. In summary, the highest form of communication in the universe is spiritual, not linguistic. Spiritual communication can also be called consciousness communication or soul communication, and the most perfect form of spiritual communication is through love. 永远只做简单事. Always do simple things. 些thing. Big things start from small beginnings. Without small things, there are no big things. By consistently doing simple tasks, difficult things become manageable. When things are often easy, difficult matters cease to exist. Complexity is embedded in simplicity. By consistently focusing on simple tasks, complexity will vanish. A towering building starts from the ground, and a masterpiece begins with a single character. Trees grow into forests, and tiny drops accumulate into oceans. There are no difficult things in practice. It's about keeping a heart full of gratitude. Cultivation doesn't require much effort. A calm and peaceful heart is sufficient. Being a good person is simple. Be honest, keep your word, and don't take unfair advantage of others. Becoming a celestial being is not unattainable. It's about seeking freedom, joy, health, and blessings. There are no big, difficult, or complex matters in the world. Only small, easy, and simple things. Yesterday has passed, and another sun rises in the east. The past cannot be reclaimed, so focus on the present. Brush your teeth, wash your face, and clean the courtyard. Show care and concern for your parents. Remind your children to tie their shoelaces and tell your spouse, "You look beautiful today." Read a book, get some work done, jot down some thoughts, mend the wall, block mouse holes, stretch your muscles, focus on your own business, avoid envying others' happiness, and refrain from yearning for others' higher status. Do not seek fame or recognition. Seek only peace, health, and harmony. Enjoy the simplicity of plain meals and the contentment found in mending and patching. Be true to yourself in your dealings with heaven, earth, and people. Even if you enter Zhongnanhai or the White House, maintain your integrity. If you can do this consistently, you are indeed extraordinary. Don't waste your energy on pointless arguments. Be quick to say, "I'm sorry," and don't let grievances make you angry. Believe that the greatest creator loves you. Don't aim for grand achievements. Focus on the small tasks at hand. Act within your capabilities and avoid letting vanity harm you. Avoid associating with wrongdoers. Conflicts often arise at the table of food and drink, and cheap deals frequently bring trouble. Accept what is rightfully yours and firmly refuse what isn't. If you avoid wrongdoing, spirits will not disturb you. If you see gold by the roadside, treat it as if it were a cancer virus. Keep your distance. In your leisure time, listen to some music to refine your temperament. Occasionally savor quotes from Precepts for Family Management by various masters, Extended Maxims for the Wise, or Vegetable Roots Discourse, to appreciate the wisdom and virtue of the sages. Or reflect on the spiritual realms of gods, Buddhas, and celestial beings from the intermediate treasury of classical advice. A tree cannot survive without its bark, and a person cannot be without friends. True friends are the best of treasures, people among people. A teacher imparts knowledge and resolves doubts, while friends discuss Tao and alleviate boredom. Reverence for heaven, earth, and deities, and respect for parents and friends are essential. Always see yourself as the humblest person in the world. Don't be afraid of filth or dislike pigsties. Let others have the best and take the lowest place for yourself. If you live this way, life will be renewed every day, and you will climb step by step. No path will seem too difficult, and you will navigate through the world with ease. Every day, focus on small tasks. Start with the easiest tasks and complete simple things promptly. Don't try to move mountains first. Start by gently wiping away small grains of sand from your eyes. Don't attempt to push a train first. Remove small grains of sand from your shoes. Don't think about distant treasures first. Manage your small plot of land well. Don't strive to become a celestial being or a Buddha. Be a simple, ordinary, reliable person first. Don't rush. Be calm. If the sky falls or the earth sinks, just play your tune. If it rains or your mother wants to remarry, don't be sad or worried. If your partner leaves or children disappoint you, let it be. As long as there are green hills, there's no need to worry about firewood. As long as our home is intact, don't fear loneliness. Life is a journey where nothing is truly gained or lost. There's no fear of changing to a new vehicle to the new realm. Unable to do grand things, I can only focus on the small tasks of writing articles. Complex matters require effort. I prefer the simplicity of writing. If you're idle, it's better to do something within your capability. Working is better than idleness. Heaven doesn't disappoint the diligent, so accumulate virtue where you can. Small efforts should not be avoided. Another sun rises in the east. Friend, from today on, focus on the smallest, simplest, and easiest tasks. As the sun sets, finish the smallest and simplest tasks at hand. You will feel at ease in your heart. 寻求最佳组合. Seeking the optimal combination. Xiefeng. A skillful cook cannot prepare a meal without rice. Thunder and lightning are created when positive and negative clouds collide. Explosives require a detonator to ignite. Seeds need moist soil to grow. Fertilization occurs through the union of male and female. Only when a fine horse is paired with a good saddle, a beautiful woman with a worthy partner, flowers with green leaves, and a singer with a stage, can their true beauty be fully revealed. A calligrapher needs a responsive brush to create exquisite works. A general manager requires competent assistants to run a company efficiently. A race car driver needs a high-performance car to outshine competitors. A violinist needs a well-crafted violin to produce captivating melodies. Gasoline releases energy when ignited. Fish swim freely in rivers, lakes, and seas. Currency circulates in markets. A computer, when connected to power and the internet, shows its full potential. Metals combine to create alloys. And a wise person resonating with life genuine can become a celestial being or a Buddha. Humans have infinite plasticity and potential. They can be either pillars or great beams. Live a life of mediocrity or one of brilliance. Become thieves or heroes. It all depends on the environment and conditions they are combined with. Oxygen combines with hydrogen to form water, with copper to create copper oxide, and with aluminum to form aluminum oxide. Those close to vermilion become red. Those close to ink become black. Worship Buddha and you gain Buddha's nature. Pursue immortality and the unreal can become real. A common person who converses with a saint can soon become wise, while a sage who keeps company with demons may eventually become a monster. Mencius's mother moved their home 3 times to create the best environment for him. Liu Bei found Zhuge which enabled him to secure 1/3 of the kingdom during the Three Kingdoms period. Xie Feng, with the help of Xianhe Celestial, founded Life Genuine.